You may not believe it, but this is the last lesson in this course. This video will cover Lesson 6, Financial Goals, along with a quick summary of everything that you've learned throughout the entire course. We're going to cover why financial goals are necessary to becoming financially stable, and we'll also teach you a handy acronym to help you set SMART goals. Alrighty, we've all got places to be, so let's just dive right in. Financial goals are personal objectives you set on how you'll save and spend your money. You can set goals about your savings, investment, and spending habits. Everyone's financial goals are different. Flush, for example, really wants to improve his financial literacy, so he set a goal to read 2 books about money by the end of the year: Rich Toilet Paper, Poor Toilet Paper, and Think and Wipe Rich. Bear thinks he already knows enough about finances, so he has set a goal to retire as early as possible. Jules wants to buy a house in the next few years, so she has set a goal to improve her credit score by 100 points in the next 2 years. Gaines has decided that it's time for him to start doing a lot more charitable giving, so he has set a goal to give more to charity. These goals are all important. Each one of our friends here have something they want to achieve, and the only way they'll ever accomplish it is if they get serious about doing so. Setting deadlines and working hard to meet those deadlines, even when you'd rather just be watching TV, is essential. But no matter how hard you work, if you haven't set a clear goal of what you're trying to achieve, you'll end up spinning your wheels instead of going anywhere. Let's dive into that a little deeper. What are the advantages of setting financial goals? Well, first and foremost, you'll make better choices concerning money than you would otherwise. Think about that for a moment. How much of your life is going to be centered around money in one way or another, either making money or what to do with it after you have it? Probably a lot of it. If there was a simple thing you could do to automatically make every single one of those choices more productive and synergistic with one another, wouldn't you do it? Well, that, friends, is what we're talking about. Andy here wants to retire by age 55 instead of age 65. Layla wants to travel to all 7 wonders of the world. These are 2 completely different goals, and these goals will cause them to make different choices. For example, let's pretend that Andy and Layla are both offered the same promotion at a company. It pays a lot more than their current jobs, but it's also a lot less flexible and more demanding on their time. Who should say yes? If Layla says yes, it might actually take her farther from her goal because it would make it harder for her to take time off to travel. If Andy says yes, on the other hand, it could help him reach his goal of retiring early because it pays more money. Real-life situations are more complicated, of course, but hopefully this illustrates the point. Making smarter choices is only one of the advantages of having clear financial goals. It also allows you to prioritize what is important for you now, a few years from now, and a lot of years from now. It helps you keep yourself accountable by giving you something to measure your progress with. You can track and adjust the progress of your goals, and you can create a realistic personal plan to hit your goals based on your current budget. But here's the caveat. Only good goals will come with all these advantages. Bad goals can actually do the complete opposite. So how can you know how to set good goals? Time for that acronym we promised. You ready? SMART. For your goals to be good, they have to be smart. S stands for specific. For example, instead of saying, I want to get a job, you could say, I want to get a full-time job doing construction. That makes your intention and your direction much, much clearer. M stands for measurable. In the job example above, it's pretty clear how to measure it. Either you've obtained a full-time job doing construction, or you have not. Here's another example. Setting a goal to just, quote, save more money, and setting a goal to save $200 every month. Being measurable is how you know whether or not you've achieved it. A stands for achievable. By achievable, we mean that it's something possible for you to accomplish. If you set a goal that is too far out of reach, even when you try your hardest, that's just going to discourage you and make it harder to even try for it. R stands for realistic. This is where we want to make sure that even if it's not too difficult for you to do, there aren't other factors outside your control that will make it impossible. For example, if you were to set a goal to live on the moon within 2 years from now, that would probably not be realistic. T stands for timeline. Your goal needs to have a timeline. At minimum, for simple goals, you should have a deadline for when the goal is going to be reached. Depending on how broad or complex the goal is, you may also want to include deadlines for individual parts of it. For example, successful authors set goals for when they will finish the first draft of their books, the second draft, the editing, and when the whole book will be finalized. So you'll know if your goal is good by whether it is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and has a timeline. Now that we know how to set good goals, let's look back at the 4 goals that our friends set earlier in the lesson and see how they stack up. Flush set a goal to read 2 books about finances by the end of the year, and he chose which 2 books he would read. Is it specific? Yes. Measurable? Yes. Achievable? Yeah. Realistic? Yeah. And does it have a timeline? Yep. But what about Bear's goal? His goal was just to retire as early as possible. Is that specific? Not really. Is it measurable? No, because how would he know whether he could have retired earlier than whenever he does? Is it achievable? Maybe, but we can't know because it's not measurable. Is it realistic? Maybe, but we can't know that for the same reason. Does it have a timeline? No, it does not. So this is not a good goal. On to Jules. Her goal was to improve her credit score by 100 points within the next 2 years. Specific? Yeah. Measurable? Yep. Achievable and realistic? Maybe. This depends on a few things, but depending on what her score is right now and why it's not already higher, this may be either too easy or too hard. We like Jules, so we'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Her goal also has a clear timeline, so this is a good goal. Last but not least, Mr. Gaines. His goal is to give more to charity. Specific? Not really. Give more compared to when? How much more? How often? Which charities? There are a lot of ways this could be more specific. Measurable? No. Achievable and realistic? Hard to say. Could be, but until it's more clear, we have no way of knowing. Is there a timeline? Nope. This is a bad goal. Now it's time to start thinking about your goals. Always remember to make your financial goals SMART. Smart. And believe it or not, folks, that's the end of Lesson 6. Here's a review of everything we've learned throughout this course. Money is necessary to provide for your basic needs. It can be earned in many ways, from a normal job, to owning your own business, to investing, and more. Money comes in many forms: coins, paper, debit and credit cards, and digital currencies. Money is just a tool. You'll spend a lot of your life thinking about money, but remember that it's just a way of transferring value between what you have and what you want. Income is money that you receive and can come from salary, business revenue, rental income, investment dividends, and retirement savings. Income can also be considered either active or passive. It's important to develop multiple sources of passive income as you age. This will help your finances remain strong as you get older. You can manage your income and expenses by using a budget. If you think of financial goals like the GPS that tells you where to go, then your budget is like the car you drive to get there. As you save money, you'll want to get an emergency fund set aside in a savings account. Then start putting money into good investments that fit your risk profile. You'll deal with 2 main financial institutions as you do all this: banks and brokerages. Banks and credit unions are financial institutions where you can safely store and access your money, but they aren't usually great places to earn high interest or dividends on that money. A brokerage, on the other hand, gives you the potential to do that. An account with a brokerage can be used to buy and sell a variety of investments like stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and exchange-traded funds or ETFs. Investing is the process of buying assets with the expectation that they increase in value over time. The most common investment opportunities include savings accounts, real estate, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, annuities, commodities, and cryptocurrencies. Investing in some form will be important to reaching your financial goals. What those goals are will largely determine what types of investments you'll want to put your money in. For your investment to be considered a success, there must be a profit. Due diligence is the most important part of any investment strategy. There are a lot of factors that go into finding the right investment to reach your financial goals. Setting goals for your financial future is a great habit to build as early as possible. Goals you set will have more success if they are specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and held to a timeline. Thank you so much for joining us throughout this course. Congratulations for completing it.